I'm Geki, welcome to another one of my reviews. Today I'm gonna review Tiny Epic Kingdom, a game by Scott Alms for Gameling Games. Plays in about 30 minutes for 2 to 5 players. It's a game that claims to be a 4X game: exploit, explore, exterminate, and expand, not necessarily in this order, in a fantasy world, in a very short time, and with a very small footprint. We will see how successful it is, but before that, a little bit of information on the format of this specific review. Inspired by something I read on the Board Game Geek forums, I will try to dedicate only 1 minute of this review to the explanatory, the didascalic part of the review, that is explaining you how the game works, and then try to dedicate more of your time and my energy to explain what I think about the game and how it plays compared to other games that I've tried and you may have tried. So let's see if this is possible, and let's start now. In Tiny Epic Kingdom, you will be expanding over a board that is composed by as many regions as there are players. You will take your meeples and move them around. Each little territory on a region will produce a different material: metal, magic, or food. You will then use this to do different things, like moving your people around, producing new people, going up on a tech tree, which is specific of your race and gives you different ability. This is where the variability of the game comes into play. Or building the tower. Building the tower gives you points. That is one of the ending conditions of the game. The way it works is every turn you choose one action. Once you choose an action, the other players can either follow you or gather resources from their board. And you repeat this until all but one of the actions has been selected. Then the next player clear out the action selection board and choose another one. You keep doing this until someone either has placed all of their people on the board, or has reached the top level of the tower, or has reached the top level of the tech tree. At that time you count up points, and whoever has the most wins. So this is the game. As I said, I only went through the rules fast, but it is not a complex game, and there are not so many things that I didn't explain. You have an interesting way to fight in which you commit resources and then reveal how much resources you have committed with these very nice little dice. But the feeling of the game, the core of the game, is in that mechanism of following or not the action of the chooser. The interesting point compared to other games in which you follow someone else's action, like Puerto Rico, San Juan, Race for the Galaxy, or Glory to Rome, is that here the other people have more choices than you do, instead of vice versa. That means that when you choose one action, if they can and want to follow you, they will take it, otherwise they can gain resources. And sometimes gaining resources, especially at the beginning of the game, is really just what you want to do. So choosing an action that the other people may want to follow sometimes is more beneficial. Later in the game, though, you may want to take an action in a precise moment where other people cannot, hoping that they don't have the resources to do it. So in this little tension is where all the interesting part of the game lies. You expand on this little board that's not particularly interesting. Moving on your own tableau or invading someone else's region doesn't really matter, because they can do the same. So the only interesting part is whether you enter a territory, a little square, that is occupied or not. And there is, I think, where the possible flaw of the game is. If you're playing in a 4 or 5 player game, whenever you attack and the other player defend, you are both going to waste resources and one of you is going to lose one guy. But the winner is not going to gain anything substantial. They will take the territory too, but either there are more spaces, so you could have taken the same territory by going elsewhere, or there are not, and so other people will have to fight. So I think that if you don't play this game with the right spirit, oh, it's a fast game and I want to go and stop him from winning, or I just want to try and kill him, you may find that fighting almost never happens but for the turn in which someone believes they are going to win. And this is really where the game could have been made more interesting, because the the quantity of resources that you need to make sure that you win a battle is so high compared to how few resources you can get in a single turn, that you either undercommit and then you risk losing your guy, or you overcommit and then you are at a loss no matter what. So whenever someone attacks you, they are basically doing it because they like to attack. And I think that's the spirit this game should be played with. Compared to all the other games that I mentioned, not only the feeling is different with this, oh, it's my turn to choose again, I'm not always happy that that happens, but at the same time, it's far easier. There are no growing effect for actions. When you quest, that means you go from your place to another. It's always the same, and you do that over and over again, but the game plays in 25 minutes, so doesn't become repetitive or boring. The powers, the tech trees escalate very fast. They have to do with all different kind of stuff depending on the people. The dwarves build very efficiently. Centaurs are good at fighting in planes. Undeads are happy when someone dies, no matter if they are their people or someone else's. Orcs are good at fighting. Elves are very strong in forest and they deal with magic. So that's the feeling of it. That's where the feeling of the game comes through. The abilities are extremely simple. A +1 here, a +1 there. It costs you 1 less to do this. Other people pay 1 more when they do this other. But it works. And the art on the things is very nice. Nothing out of the ordinary, but really, really nice. All of the players' races come like this. They have a tech tree, a common area for scoring with their own illustration, and a very nice back. So you play the game, you repeat the action at the end, you win. The very good thing is that there is basically no luck. There is nothing random. You never roll these very chunky, nice dice. You just reveal them. You never draw cards. Everything that is out there on the territories is out there to be seen by everyone. So it's a very deterministic game. So it's a game that has no luck. It has a very strong team, a very nice feeling of exploration and expansion, although not so much of exterminating, in my opinion. You have different ways to victory. You can establish a strong presence because that gives you more resources and you will get points for how many people you have out there, meeples you have out there. You can go on to magic, gain a bunch of special powers, gain points, and the last level of magic triggers the end game, gives you 1 more point for the level, plus usually gives you some additionally end of game points. Or you can build the tower. The build the tower is maybe less exciting. You just go up on the levels, but it can score alone up to 10 points, and since winning scores are usually in the 12, if you can manage this, you probably have it locked up. But it costs a lot of resources. For comparison, you spend 1 more for each level that you reach. Magic has only 5 levels, while the tower has 6. So that's why it can be so rewarding, but is also expensive. So this is the game. I believe it's very good. There is also an expansion with rules for little tokens that you place on the board, and you go there and collect them. They add some randomness to the game that can be refreshing after you have played it a few times. There are also capital cities on some of the regions. All the regions are double-faced. Although I would argue that beside the cities or the ruins that have specific rules, the simple disposition of the territories is not very meaningful because you can always go elsewhere. So let's say that I'm here and I cannot go here because there is a mountain in between. I can always jump to one of these other with another one of the actions. So it's nice to have a variety, but it's not that significant. So far, everyone I have played this with has liked it, including me. No one will probably go home and remember it as the high point of their gaming experience, but at the same time, I don't think you will ever find someone bored out of their mind by this game. And even if they were, the game is over in 30 minutes. So I don't know what the retail price will be on this. It will probably be over around between $15 and $25, I guess. And if that's the case, I really suggest you to pick it up. The components are very nice. The playing experience is fun. It's fast, and it is another one of those games like 8-Minute Empire Legends that you really want to have available when you want to start the night or end the night or the afternoon, whenever you play, with something that is not just a 10-minute filler, but is not a 1 hour and a half game. This is something that you will remember. I mean, you will remember who won and what happened and how your race played. You will want to try other races and see how they work differently. They are probably, some of them may be stronger than others. I cannot affirm this with absolute certainty, but it looked like there were some that everyone would want if you allow them to choose, so we usually deal them out randomly. And this is certainly another little flaw of the game. But again, given the extremely fast pace, the short time length, and the refreshing take on an action selection with the other following your action mechanism that was there already but not in this way, I really believe this is an excellent little game, and I suggest you pick it up. Bye. Oh, and please let me know if you like this new format for my reviews. You can find more on my review channel or on Board Game Geek. Let me know in the comments what you think of the game, of the review, and of the short explanation, long critique form. And I hope you enjoyed this. I'm Geki, and see you next time.